Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/ProRevenge. No one likes it when their honest work is not appreciated. Let's see how OP handled it. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. $3,500 is too much for a painting. The following story happened to my mother a few months ago. She's an artist and paints, usually golf scenes for a living. She recently divorced my father, so money's tight. The golf course near her is renovating their clubhouse, so they asked her how much it would cost to commission a painting. Since she's desperate, she severely lowballs and says $3,500. They immediately accept and ask if she can do 3 more at that price. She's now selling paintings for $12,500 or more. Fast forward a month, and 100 hours into the first painting, she almost completes it and goes to the clubhouse with the contract. The following conversation happens. Owner is the owner, and M is my mother. M: here's the contract, $3,500 per painting, and we split 50-50 profits for the giclées sold to golfers. Owner: no, we agreed upon $2,500 per painting. M: we agreed at $3,500. Owner: I would never have done that. You should be happy you're getting recognition from this. M: internally screaming because he just said that. Anything else you want to change? Owner: yeah, I'm not dealing with the selling of giclées. You can do that. What he doesn't know is that most of the profit comes from selling the giclée copies. Now she's trying her hardest to keep a straight face. M: okay then, I'll take the giclées off your hands. Owner: good. M: I can do $2,500 for the first painting, but after this one they're all $3,500. I'll change the contract to your liking and send it tomorrow. Owner: smart move. The owner leaves. My mom looks at the golf pro standing nearby and asks what he thinks about what just happened. He just throws his hands up and says he can't say anything and that he's sorry that the owner just did that. Back at home, my mom redrafted the contract to give her sole rights to the painting. All intellectual property of the painting is hers. All profits are hers. Everything but the physical painting itself is hers. They signed it. If she sells 4 giclées, she's already ahead. She'll most likely sell 4 times that within the next year. Well, hope the owner's pleased after he realizes how royally he effed up. And our next story. Want to start drama? Fine. Prepare to lose your job. I'm a 20-year-old female who works at a chain of convenience we shall call the Tree of Dollar. Working as a cashier sucks already because of COVID and entitled customers, but it's worse when your own co-workers can't get along. Karen had just been working there at the store for perhaps only around 3 months, yet during the time, she'd already been promoted to key holder. The power going to her already bleached head. She was acting like she was the one in charge of us, even though most of us were around longer or had the same position. This is where Irina comes along. Poor Irina. She was a target from day one due to her being a tad bit of a doormat. She'd clean the store whenever Karen was lazy and had to cut her break short because Karen wanted to go on her break. Even her own labeled food in the fridge was taken because Karen didn't want to spend $5 on some cheap TV dinner. The incident. It eventually got to the point where Irina finally had enough and the two began arguing day by day all of the time. Now, some information I've missed due to not being on the same shift, but the next day I came in, there was already a bad vibe in the room. Karen was muttering under her breath and talking a lot of horrible things about Irina in front of me and the customers she was tending to in line, while Irina tried to stay her distance. My boss wanted me to have them stay distant, yet the moment I came back up front, the two were arguing over how poor the rug was being swept. Karen: there's so much dirt on here. You'd think this is a barn or something. Irina: it's just a small bit. I'll grab the Karen: don't even bother. You can't even clean the rug right. Mommy and Daddy can't even show you that much? Insert racist slur here. Please note that Karen and myself are of color, yet she would always say racist things about Irina, who was white. Stereotypical things like trailer trash or some other nonsense. Irina at this point looked truly drained and walked off to go find the broom. Later, when our shift was about to end, she asked me to ring her up real quick since she didn't want Karen to at her register, and I said sure. After all, she only had like 2 or 3 things, and there weren't a lot of people in line. Right away, as soon as I'd finished bagging her stuff, Karen was right behind me and began yelling at us that we shouldn't be shopping on the clock. Note, this was totally okay with my boss since everyone, and I mean everyone, buys stuff on their shift. Karen wanted for Irina to clock out, then buy her stuff, but Irina, of course, protested. By this time, my boss and supervisors had already left us alone in the store, and it was just us along with some stalkers until the second shift arrived. More people began to enter the line and watch as Karen began to enter this huge tirade of how teens like us were so disrespectful and how she'd teach us a lesson. Right away, she took out her phone and called my boss about how we were shopping on the clock and disobeying her. My boss was about to ask for our side of the story, but soon Karen hung up the phone and gave us a look like, "Ha ha, you're in trouble now." Tired and annoyed, I told her that she had to chill out, that this was not shopping on the clock, and that even if it was fine since it was allowed. Big mistake. Little note about Karen, she's a middle-aged woman who still acts like a trashy teenager from the 11th grade. Her attitude was the worst as she would flip out on anyone without a care or regard of who they were. She was already in hot water because of this, and now that the fire had been stroked, she was pissed. I can't remember everything word for word, but Karen was livid. She began to insult my hair, my clothes, and saying no one would ever want an ugly skank hobo like you. Now, I have horrible anxiety as it is. Imagine all of this, all of the yelling, all of the cursing, everything, and the store is packed. People are watching, and here I am, not knowing anything to say as I'm reliving high school all over again. I went into a panic attack. I couldn't breathe, couldn't speak, and was crying, but I was seething. Granted, I shouldn't have said this, but the look on her face made it so worth it. Me. At least I'm not some GD bimbo still here slaving away at a counter while trying to screw some piece on the side. Things got messy from there. Karen wanted to fight, but we were taken outside by the stalkers, bless them, and left to go home. I'd been given a few days off to calm my nerves, but it didn't help. I felt like complete crap. The revenge. Karen made me feel like I was at my weakest point all over again, like I was trash just as I was feeling confident over myself and everything. I wanted revenge. When I'd come home that day, my grandmother saw me crying and came to comfort me before leaving for a few hours. When she came back, she told me Karen wouldn't be a problem. I later got a phone call from the big boss, the district manager, over the events of that day, and after telling him my side, he said he'll contact me later. I thought that I was done for, that it was over for me, but then Karen was gone for a few days. A few days turned into a week, and a week became 2. We were informed that Karen had to be tragically let go due to workplace bullying, harassment, poor customer service, and so on. She was gone. Yay, right? Not quite. It wasn't until I came home and told my grandmother what happened, and then she finally told me, strike 3. Now, my gran is a petty woman. Screw with her, pray that she'll show mercy. Screw with her family, pray that you'll die quickly. That day when she left for those few hours, I found out that she set her plan into action. She returned to the store hoping to see Karen. My gran found her near the back on her phone talking about how disrespectful I was to her and that I better watch my back. My grandmother started her plan, beginning to act as the world's most annoying customer, making spills in front of Karen, constantly interrupting her on the phone, etc., etc. Remember when I said Karen's attitude was the worst? Yeah, she flipped. She flipped once again and lost her cool. From what my grandmother told me, Karen didn't know that my boss had arrived to the store to switch off with her, and when he saw his employee yelling at an elderly woman over a spilt case of water that said elderly woman was hunched over to grab, it was the nail in the coffin. Karen was gone. Irina left the job due to it stressing her out too much. From what I hear, she's doing better now, free from the terror of Karen. As for Karen, she came to the store, and judging by her surprised face, she didn't think I was still around. But I was, LOL. My coworker was outside on her smoke break when Karen stormed outside and proceeded to vent to my confused coworker. Now, judging by her yelling, she was talking about me, obviously. A lot of, I can't believe that they have someone like that here still working here. And I don't like liars. She's a effing liar getting me fired. And she stinks, and she's so effing ugly. Other than the personal shots to my appearance, thanks for that, Karen, I took a lot of pleasure seeing her PO'd at seeing me. It brought me even better joy when I went to lock the doors and flipped her off away from the camera's view, smiling and all. LOL. And our last story. You don't even get an interview. When I was just starting out after college, I got an entry-level job in my industry at a very small company, as one of like 7 employees. I soon found out I was the only one who was not a Republican. But I don't generally talk politics at work, so I didn't think much of it. Unfortunately, one of the long-term employees, who had the ears of the bosses, really didn't like me. He took every opportunity to complain about me. If I said something he didn't like, straight to the CFO or CEO's office he went. I was fired about a month or so in. I was told I just wasn't a good fit. When I filed for unemployment, they fought it, saying I had an attitude problem. I was planning to fight them on it, but I got a new job before the hearing date. Fast forward 15 years, and I'm at a large government agency, and we're looking for a freelancer to work on a project. Guess whose resume comes across my boss's desk? The boss had everyone who was going to be working with the freelancer weigh in on the applicants, and I was one of them. All I had to say was, I worked with this guy, and he's a total A. That resume went right into the round file. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.